Okay, we can talk more about it in the panel, and there's one last talk before the panel, and Raúl Insa from SOM Biotech. He's going to tell us about repurposing drugs in neurodegenerative disorders. Repurposing is something that everybody wants to do, and I'm sure there'll be a very lively discussion in the panel about this. So go ahead, Raúl.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, thank you very much to the organization and to Dr. López the opportunity to share with you something that you maybe consider is a niche in drug development, which is repurposing drugs, but you will see that it is not really a niche. First of all, let's see what's okay. No, that is not the one I wanted to talk with. Sorry. Why drug repurposing? Okay, repurposing drugs is just identifying new activities of a known drug, a drug that has been discovered previously for another indication. Okay, the advantage of drug repurposing is mainly that you know the safety and you know the quality of the drug being administered in humans, so you only have to demonstrate about efficacy in the new indication. So usually the risk is low. The potential may be high in terms of rewards or not, but the risk is usually low, okay? Because 3 of the main pathways of a regulatory approval is already known for that drug. If you compare that with the new chemical entities, the risk is usually higher, the time longer, and the investment longer. Maybe rewards may be bigger than in drug repurposing, okay? But the risk is very high. If you have a look at this, there is the double of possibilities to reach the market when you start a phase 2 proof of concept in humans in a repurposed drug. There's about 28% more possibilities of reaching the market when you start phase 3 clinical trials in a repurposed drug. And the probability is equal to have approval, 90% more or less, by the regulatory agencies. So this is the great advantage of doing drug repurposing. We at SOM Biotech started the company 6 years ago in the Park Scientific of Barcelona. Okay, we are 6 employees right now, and we have done a lot of projects based in our in silico technology. Our in silico technology is a ligand-based virtual screening platform that takes into account the molecular fields of a reference compound. A reference compound is a small chemical entity that is having an activity in a specific disease. Whether it's preclinical, clinical, validated or not, it doesn't mind. We take this drug, we introduce it in our system, and by comparing the molecular fields, we can identify another drug in a database of more than 10,000 compounds that may have similar or better activity than that drug. This is the drug discovery tool that we have in-house, and by doing this in the last years, as I said, we have this pipeline of 5 products under development. 1 product for the treatment of TTR amyloidosis, which has just finished phase 2 in a clinical trial in Vall d'Hebron in Barcelona with 20 patients, very good results, and right now is under development by an American company. The second drug is for the treatment of Huntington disease. This is symptomatic treatment, chorea associated to Huntington disease, so no disease modifying. I will explain later on. The fourth one that we have in neurology is for amnesia Alzheimer's disease. This is a sigma-1 agonist, not yet validated clinically if a sigma-1 agonist is useful for Alzheimer's disease. And the last one is for oncology for glioblastoma, which is still CNS, of course, but not neurodegeneration. In our early pipeline, we want to fill this pipeline for the future with more projects. So this is the list of early stage pipeline projects that we have right now. You will see that many of them are CNS, as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or spinal muscular atrophy, epilepsy, Niemann-Pick, spinobulbar atrophy, Gaucher disease, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Probably this is because my background as a medical doctor and PhD in clinical neurology guides a little bit the decision of the projects, okay? But also because there is a great medical need here. All these projects come by ourselves, at our own decision and our own investment. But right now, for instance, we are looking at 3 different projects that come from the universities of Spain mainly, and 2 of them are in neurodegenerative diseases to be incorporated into our pipeline. Okay, our objective is to reach phase 2, have proof of concept in humans, and later on license this to a bigger pharmaceutical company willing to finish the development and putting the drugs in the market. Okay, some small slides on the 3 main products in CNS. Okay, SOM 0226 for the treatment of TTR amyloidosis. TTR is an orphan disease, where a protein which is manufactured by the liver, but also in the plexus choroideus, is manufactured, misfolds into amyloidotic fibers. When these amyloidotic fibers affect the nerves, peripheral nerves, you have a familial amyloid polyneuropathy. And when it affects the heart, you have the cardiomyopathy or the senile form. But also there is a very aggressive CNS senile amyloidosis because of this condition. By using our platform, we introduced tafamidis. You may be familiar with this drug or not. Tafamidis is a drug from Pfizer. Pfizer bought a company called Fold RX in 2011 and paid $400 million for this compound. Right now it's approved in Europe for the treatment of polyneuropathy, and it's worth, the price is 140,000 euros per patient a year as an orphan indication. We discovered from a screening of 30 compounds from our database, SOM 0226. SOM 0226 is 4 times more potent than tafamidis in binding to the protein, in avoiding the misfolding of the protein, and avoiding damage of the tissues by the amyloidogenesis. This product may be already known by many of you. It's called tolcapone and was launched a long time ago for the treatment of Parkinson's disease. Okay, so we have repurposed it in a new indication that nobody knew that it was working. Right now, as I said before, we have finished phase 2 proof of concept, very positive data, and it's going to go under development in the United States and Europe by an independent company. The second one for the treatment of Huntington disease, this is a vesicular monoamine transporter 2 inhibitor. We call it SOM 3355. The real name of the drug is bevantolol. It's a beta blocker, only approved in Japan and Korea for the treatment of hypertension. And we discovered that it had this activity as a vesicular monoamine transporter 2. So that's symptomatic treatment for chorea associated to Huntington disease, Tourette syndrome, tardive dyskinesia, and also hemiplegia. By doing a screening of different drugs, we identified some drugs that were very similar to our reference compound. Our reference compound is tetrabenazine. Tetrabenazine is in the market for the condition of chorea associated with Huntington disease, but has very bad safety profile. Okay, and we identified SOM 3355 as having similar IC50 activity. We did later on a study to see that it could cross the blood-brain barrier. We have avoided the animal study because we want to go directly into the clinics and do a phase 2 proof of concept, 30 patients, placebo-controlled study in 3 sites in Spain. And we are under negotiation with an American company, independent one, for the development of this drug. The third one in neurodegenerative diseases is, as I said, the sigma-1 receptor agonist that we discovered called SOM 2485. This drug, I'm not going to say the name because it's not yet protected, but it's only in Taiwan country for the treatment of flu. We have discovered this new activity of the drug, but sigma-1 is not yet validated clinically for patients, so there is a lot of risk on the development of this drug, and an animal model takes a lot of time and a lot of money. So it's still there in the pipeline to be decided what we do with it. And this one I'm going to skip it because that's neurology, but it's oncology, so I'm not going to talk about it. My 2 last slides are about a reflection of how common is drug repurposing. Okay, this is a list that was published by a research group, business research group called BCC at the beginning of the year, and this is a list of products that have been repurposed or are under development for repurposing in the last years. The flags in red are those in neurology. Okay, you may have memantine for Alzheimer's, amantadine for Parkinson, fumaric acid for sclerosis multiple. Even tacrolimus, the first product approved for Alzheimer's, was a repurposed drug. Okay, so there are many products that have been repurposed. You have to take into account that 1/3, 30% of the drugs approved by the FDA are repurposed drugs. Okay? And I'm sure that many of you at the academia, the universities, or whatever place, you try different drugs because of the mechanism of action or because you want to have an idea of how it works, and those drugs are already known. So at the end of the day, you are doing repurposing as well. But what about the future in neurology or neuroscience? The future is interesting because according to this survey of this company, in 2020, okay, neurology in repurposing drugs in the CNS is going to grow. The only one therapeutic area that is going to grow double-digit, 70% accumulated growth, okay, in the next years for repurposing drugs in CNS. So there is a lot of opportunity here. We as a company liking to develop the drugs into the clinics are very much open to listen to your ideas on repurposing drugs or your findings in order to help you in this transition from basic, sometimes it's not so basic, but it needs some transition from the basic science and applied science to the products in the market. As Antonio said before, the patient is waiting. So that's my short talk up to now. Okay, thank you very much.